Oh man. Okay, now I'm over here playing with like this Ecamm. I'm playing with this software, like all the different sound effects they can do. They got like the traditional DJ air horn, the claps and everything
Yeah.
like that. And the reason why I was like, hey, I need to check this out is because I was like, yo, we finally got like a name for this thing. So I was like, we gotta, take a moment of a round of applause. So I guess we can kind of give people like a second to come in. Um, I don't. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But how you doing, Carl?
Doing well. Doing well. So I just had my family in town from Los Angeles because I was born and raised in LA. So they drove the 1,000 plus miles from LA to Austin recently. I know. That is dedication through love and time. Okay.
No,
They
that
love me a lot.
I could tell. Are you the only one in Texas? Like the only family member in
I
Texas?
am. I am the only
Dang.
family member in Texas.
Okay. So who all came down? Like you talking about like parents, siblings, all that?
Yeah, my parents came down. My nephew, he's 7, so my girls were able to have an honorary little brother for a little while. You're
Aw.
welcome, baby. And then my sister also came down, my younger sister. So yeah, man, it
Oh, that's
was we had a house full of people.
that's what's up. That's cool. I like that. No, that's definitely love. It's like 1,000 mile road trip
For
with a
real.
little kid.
For real.
I might have to be like, yo, I'll catch you next time. But
Yeah.
no, that's cool. That's cool. That's good. Well, nah, I miss you. I was over here like talking to the people by myself. I mean, it worked, but it was just like it was good, a little different, But it was all good.
I'm back, fam.
All
I'm
right,
here.
we're good. Hey, you know what? So look, if you don't know, my name is Andrew Baines. I am the founder of No Experience Jobs.io. My goal is to help people find their dream job. No Experience Jobs.io is really intended to help early career professionals find opportunities that don't require experience, hence the name. Uh, but look, like we started this content series, me and the lovely Miss Kara Gooch. Let me see if I got it right. The founder and CEO of Route to Rise, helping apprentices reach that next level, and then also helping companies, employers, um, plan, prepare, and equip their apprentices to have uh, a good transition.
Yeah,
Did I know
man.
that? Is that good?
You did it. You did it right. Thank
There
you.
we go. Look, I'm getting it down. But nah, Car. Anything else you want to add to the intro?
Nah, nah,
All
you
right,
said it right. I'm
we
gonna have to
good.
rewatch it and then write it down and then memorize it for myself because that was
Hey,
good.
look, that's what I'm here for. But yo, let's talk about this name real quick. So we got a name for the show. Where the jobs at? I was like, yo, that's catchy, and I pitched it to you. You was like, yo, that's dope. So this is where we at. And you know what? You know what I think of when I hear the name? Like I say the name out loud. I actually think of that meme. Dang, it's probably from like 5 years ago at this point. But old buddy who was like at a car dealership and he was in the trunk of the car and he hopped out the trunk and he was talking about like
Hmm.
where the money reside. I don't know, for whatever reason, whenever I hear like say or hear like where the jobs at, that's the first thing I just think
Yeah.
of, that meme with that guy hopping out the trunk talking about where the money reside. And I guess that's what we trying to do at the same time, like help people get to the job where the money resides, but it's where the job's at. So yeah.
Right on. Well,
All
we're here
right.
for it.
So let's get into it. I think this one is slightly different than the previous ones. I know the past couple of like live streams, we kind of had like some different articles that we were kind of looking at and kind of giving like our reaction, our 2 cents to it. Um, I don't think we really had any articles that were like really pressing, but I think this week, I think it's really important for a lot of articles we looked at in the past were like, okay, hey, this is the job market. This is what it is. It's very dire. It's trash,
Mm.
more or less. But I think there's a lot of uncertainty because employers don't necessarily know what's going to happen from like an administration standpoint. You got the tariffs. Like I thought the tariff thing was over. Apparently they like, nah, we back for round two. And then you got all kinds of things with the rise of AI and everything else. So I think there's a lot of uncertainty, which is going to kind of slow down the hiring. But I think, from an ownership standpoint, I think it's still a lot that candidates can do, regardless of what job market we're in, to improve their
Yeah.
chances of, getting a job. So I thought it'd be good to kind of talk about some of those tactics. And then, I'm a big believer that, you really need to like treat yourself like a personal brand or like as a company as in general. So I thought that would be like a good thing for us to talk about. But um, yeah, hop in if you have any thoughts there or anything you want to add. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into this one because I think there are also going to be a couple of recommendations for books that folks can get into that I have on the top of my mind. So I'm excited to jump
Mm,
in.
okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, no, I think that is gonna be very valuable. So I'm looking forward to it. So I guess a lot of people to kind of kick it off. A lot of people, like I said, are just waiting for that job to come to them. They're looking on LinkedIn, they're looking on Indeed, and they're just
Hmm.
going about it. Hey, let me just passively, and I call it even though they're actively applying, like there's a lot of things that you can do, a lot of steps you can take that are more active. And so when I
Yeah,
think about like three things that people can do in order to like help increase their chances of landing a job, like I said, I think it starts with like treating yourself like a business. And I think the first step, in my opinion, is like number one, you got to shift your mindset into really taking the mental approach and understanding like, hey, I can't just do this the way it's been done in the past in terms of like just looking online for job boards, applying to jobs. I think you really strategically need to take steps and map out a strategy for like, how are you going to approach this? How are you actually going to improve your chances of landing a job? How are you going to increase your own luck? Which is something I'm a big believer in. Not just hoping and praying, but actually taking steps to kind of make things happen. And so I think number one, you got to really get out of that mindset or just dead the thought that, hey, if you do the work, you'll get recognized, you'll get the opportunity, the best thing will come to me. Like that's never really been entirely true. In my opinion, it's always been like who you know versus over what you know. But I think it's
yeah,
even more so heightened now because it's so competitive in the job market. And then also employers are looking to leverage these AI tools to cut back their headcount. So I think you have to like really take a strategic approach to adopting that mindset.
yeah, man. Agreed. Um, One of the best things that I think we can get into today is how we have seen some of the strategies that we're going to talk about come to pass and be of benefit in our own spaces as well. So put a pin in that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, so one thing I thought it would be cool to like show a few examples
Yeah.
of some people that have done people that I've known personally or I've met personally over the past few years that have done a good job of establishing a brand or leveraging their online presence to kind of help create opportunities for themselves. And so just to kind of
Hmm.
drive the point home even further. And so let me see. All right, it's a cheat sheet, but let's jump over here. So, Kari, are you able to see this actually?
No, man.
No. Oh man, I'm
Let me bring
sorry,
up the
bro.
live stream. Let
Hold
me bring up
up.
the live stream on my other
Okay,
screen.
okay.
I see it.
All right, cool. So there's three different examples I just wanted to show like or touch on real quick where I was like, hey, like these people have done an amazing job of leveraging social media or creative ways, creative marketing for themselves, for their brands. The first two are individuals that I've had the fortune of meeting. This young lady, I don't really know her. I won't say that, but I attended a conference called AMA, African American Marketing Association, and she spoke on a panel about how she was a single mom, she was a teacher, she was tired of working in the classroom, she was looking for something else. And this is actually, I believe this is actually like the original post where she talks about, hey, I graduated from TSU. Uh, Basically, I became a teacher, English teacher in high school, a high school English teacher while being pregnant, 8 months pregnant at that. I'm like, I don't know how you did that. My bad. I'm like, I don't know how you did that. Like working in the classroom, 8 months pregnant. That just sounds crazy. Um, but then on top of that, like she went back to work shortly after the baby, and then like just being in a situation where she felt like she was struggling financially, all these different things. And then at the end, she talked about, hey, I may not have the experience or check all the boxes that you may be looking for, but this is what I bring to the table. And she's already, throughout this entire post, she's already built trust or shown or demonstrated like, hey, I'm very resilient. I work hard. I'm persistent. I make things happen. I go above and beyond. And then now she's like, okay, hey, I'm looking for something more. Like, let me know what you have available. And then she included a photo of herself graduating from TSU while pregnant. And then, so this post went viral. I think she said it had like over 700,000 impressions, which is crazy, but it had nearly 10,000 engagement, 64 reposts, 703 comments. So obviously it did a lot, but the cool thing I thought was that during the conference, she talked about how that actually led to her getting a job at Microsoft. And so she actually has like a follow-up post where she talks about, hey, I made this post back in February 2022. Basically, it went viral. I received an email from somebody at Microsoft that came across my LinkedIn post, uh, kind of fast forwarded a little bit, but then after having different rounds of interview, by June 22nd, 2022, she had a job offer from Microsoft, I believe. And so within the course of, was that 4 months? Literally 4 months from when she wrote the post. So 2 months between when she wrote the post and she got contacted by this individual, and then another 2 months from that initial contact to actually getting the job offer. And all of this kind of started from her, putting herself out there, sharing her story. And
Mhm.
the thing I loved about the way that she went about it is that I feel like some people, like when they get on LinkedIn, they just kind of do I applied to 599 jobs and I haven't heard anything back. The job market sucks. But I love her approach to it because it's like she showed you like all the resiliency and everything that she did in addition to like looking for new opportunities. And I think for me, if I'm an employer, I'm looking at this like, damn, this girl, like, is she working while 8 months pregnant? She going back to work after 3 months after a C-section? It's like, yo, like, this is definitely a hard worker. She'll figure it out. She's smart. She has multiple degrees, all that. So I'm like, I think that in itself is a great starting point or a great opportunity for how people can build their brand and think about themselves as something more than just a candidate. And I hated applying online to jobs. I'm gonna be honest with you because it always felt like you just throwing your resume in the trash. But I feel like I've been talking a lot, so I'll kind of take a pause there and just give you an opportunity to chime in.
Yeah, so I think a couple of things that we can learn from this. Yes, there is resilience in the way that you show up online, but also the way in which you brand yourself. I think that people fail to realize that the way that they share and show up online can also be the blueprint for someone else. And so I wanted to actually like challenge us a little bit and take some of the content from her post and see how we can like either create a prompt that can be reused to help folks like you know create like a template on how they can show up and create a post similar to that. Not saying that the results from this prompt will get you the exact same results, but still, like, be able to teach people how to do it for themselves, like, by all means. Because I've done the same thing where I've seen posts get like mad love for the way that they're structured, and then I use those same items for myself, and then I'm like, okay, like this isn't like mad love, but this is love based on the way that I'm seeing it, and I like it.
No, that's real. I think, and that's something. The great thing about like Chat GPT and these AI platforms is that you can leverage them, especially if you're more introverted or you're not comfortable in the social media world. Um,
For sure.
so yeah, no, I'm down for that. You got the prompt with you right now. You want to like drop it in that Word document or something? I got to figure out how
Yeah,
to let you share on this platform. I'm gonna figure that out. That's my homework.
no problem. No, I don't have a prompt right now. I was actually going to just walk through it,
Oh,
like
word, word, word.
Yeah, like straight up, just do it now. Hold on, let me pull it up. All right, I got the prompt in front of me. I mean, sorry, I got the post in front of me. All right, let's see. Let's see how you can. I don't know. It says that I can share.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Do your thing.
All right, let's see how this is coming up
Okay, hold on. Let
on
me
the
see.
broadcast.
I see it's trying to do something. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, yeah, there we go. Now they can see it.
Okay, cool. So, all right. So what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna I'm gonna use the I'm gonna use the content from the post that we're looking at right now, and essentially what I wanted to do is essentially create like a mock-up of an outline or a template on how someone else can reuse the structure of Kiana's post so that you can do the same for yourself. So and I also wanted to help us create like some type of question, like a list of questions that we can answer to help us um, create our own writing prompts, right? Because we don't want ChatGPT to continue to do is to write the content for us, and so we want to use it as an inspiration tool so that we can respond to its prompts that it gives us. All right, so with that said, let's give it first a roll. So you are a content writer for LinkedIn. I wanted to create an outline. Um, Assign open-ended writing prompts. Per section and make the prompts as reflective and um, all right, so here's the prompt. Create that, do that. Let's see what it comes back with. Give me a chance. What perseverance, parenthood, and blah, 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 blah. Okay. Opening hook. Define doubt. I like that. Turning pain into purpose. Academic triumph against the odds. Climbing higher with no net. Working through pain, literally. Loyalty meets limits. What I want my kids to know. That's good. A call for opportunity. Closing reflection. Okay. So, all right. So I want this to be as one scroll as possible. Cool. So when we're looking at a long post like this, the greatest thing that we want to make sure that we're doing when we want there to be like a strong call to action, or as they listed, a call to opportunity, you want to start off with a viral like or attention grabbing hook. And so in this space, it's being called defying doubt. And so, and so the question prompts are, when you've been told you would, when is the last time you've been told that you wouldn't succeed? What did those words plant in you? Fear, fuel, or both? And how did you respond to that moment? So Andrew, I want to challenge you. The last time that you were told that you wouldn't succeed.
That's a good one. I don't know if I've been told, at least in the past like 5 years or so, like been told that hey, I won't succeed. But I've
Hmm.
had like instances where like people, it may be like, okay, hey, somebody gives me a task at work, and somebody that I work with may be like, how you gonna do that? You don't even know like XYZ. Like it may be like, hey, Andrew's gonna code something up in this particular language, and somebody may reply like, how you gonna do that? You don't even know Python, or you don't even know this. Like, but it's like you saying it like I can't learn it or like I can't do it. And for
Yeah.
me, I always take that as like a challenge. And so any kind of doubt that somebody projects on me or whatever, um, I'm looking to prove them wrong off the rip. So for me, that's like, okay, hey, what do I have to do to accomplish this task? What do I have to learn? What do I have to, what new skills do I have to gain to get it done? And just taking it, one bite at a time, one step at a time.
Yeah. And so what I take from that is doubt accepted as a challenge, not identity.
Okay,
Um,
you coming up with this off the fly?
yeah, man. Yeah.
I like it.
Um, so I think with something like that, somebody can look at the last 6 months of their journey. If this may be you going through searching for a job, or you knew that you were going to be transitioned out from a job. I gave this advice to somebody that I knew was being transitioned out from my last employer, and how to use that time to help them, with the catalyst for the next. If you know that a transition is coming, or you're walking through a current transition, I challenge you to itemize all of your wins first, and itemize the limitations that you have overcome. And within that then you can find those defying doubt opportunities, or when you accepted someone else's doubt as your own challenge, and then you rose to it becoming becoming a win for you. And
I
so
like
after you
that.
itemize, yeah, and after you itemize that, then that can take you back into turning a pain point into purpose, and then so on and so forth. So it's always going to start with itemizing some of the things that you have accomplished, or what action items you have taken within the last 6 months. The last 6 months is crucial because um, it's the closest to where you are now, and it makes it a lot more actionable for you to pinpoint, like, okay, I've measured this success by this percentage point. I've measured the success by this tangible piece of success, or whatever the case may be. So yeah, itemize the last 6 months, what things you've accomplished, or things that have been projected onto you as a doubt that you have overcome. And that's a great first step before you walk into this framework that we're looking at right now.
I like that because I think with like I'm thinking of like a brag book, right? And this is something that I had
Right.
somebody tell me a long time ago. Like you got to start tracking your wins and your accomplishments throughout your career.
For real.
And I think that's amazing. What you're saying is a great idea because each one of those points or accomplishments, there's a story behind each one, right? And so
Yeah.
basically, you're just going to repackage that, repurpose that story from your brag book, and use that for content. And so,
Hmm.
hey, if it's, you know, I'm in this baby phase, like so all my references top of mind are like, hey, taking care of kids and managing all
Right.
this stuff. But if it's like, hey, you're in project management and you got to manage a whole portfolio of, whatever technologies or software and different
Hmm.
timelines and all that, how can you transform that into a story? Which one of those maybe presented different challenges? So I think that's great advice. And leveraging the AI, I like that recommendation as well.
That's good. I even had to do that for my husband. He's still on in the job market right now,
Yeah.
but I didn't add this experience to his resume, but I did add it to his LinkedIn profile of him being a household manager, whereas he came into a ready-made family. Like it was just me and my girls, and I have three. He came as an addition to what's already put in place. And
Yeah.
so, as he's applying for project management roles, please reach out to me if you know of any project management roles in Austin, Texas, or remote. I have a candidate for you. But but on his LinkedIn profile, I shifted the perspective of what he brings um, to our household and framed it around how that has allowed him to be a great project manager for our household and how it can translate into what he does on a job site.
Okay, supportive
So
wife. I'm with it. You know,
it's good.
now you know what? That it's funny you said it. Like when you were talking, I was thinking of like M&A. I was thinking like all the consultant terms, like M&A, and
Right.
then change management. Or I'm like, hey, you
Hmm.
merging these two different families into one. You know,
Hmm.
everybody. So it's a lot. It's a lot that goes into it, and there are a lot of skill sets that are gained from that. So
Yeah.
no, I think it's important for like being able to communicate that and translate that. And I think, dang, I'm forgetting her name like on the spot. Uh, Kiana. Yeah, I think Kiana even did that in her post where she referenced like, "Hey, I'm a single mom, I'm
Yeah.
pregnant, all that." So you can still leverage those like real family or real life experiences to kind of get your point across.
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
Let me do this real quick. Let me
You can take over the screen share.
okay. All right, here we go. The other two real quick. So we talked about her. Arhenis. So this guy, I actually interviewed him for a podcast episode. I thought so he took more of like a creative approach. So
Hmm.
he does an amazing job off the rip of uh, like documenting his process. Like if he's going to
Okay.
like a hey, what's it called? Oh my goodness, y'all forgive me, my brain is like cooked right now. But like if he's going to like a hackathon or like a
Yeah.
workshop or something like that, like he's documenting that constantly. He based in the Boston area, so he goes to Harvard, I believe, and then in Boston you got like MIT. You got a lot of different things happening in Boston, so he's always documenting that. But at the same
Yeah.
time, he's been applying a job, and he's like, "Yo, this ain't really working." So he, thought about like a creative way to kind of gain attention, or not just gain attention, but like communicate the frustrations of the job market, but also being creative, and then also providing some input in the comments or additional context in the comments. So basically, here, he's talking about, hey, I'll pay somebody, 10K if they can give me a job, making six figures, and when he told me when he made this, he was kind of jokingly making it, but at the same time, he was like, hey, if somebody's actually able to do it, it's a good deal in his perspective because if you're making 6K, basically, if you're paying somebody 10K, you're basically giving up 1 month's salary to get, another 11 months of, salary and income. And so
Yeah.
this was pretty cool because this story, it went viral in its own right. There was another guy who kind of copied the post. He made sure to credit Arhenes. But then also this got picked up by Business Insider, Yahoo, and then a few other like media companies. And so they were kind of reaching out to him, kind of getting his perspective on things. And so I thought that was just
Wow.
like a unique way to like, again, instead of just like kind of complaining about the job market and where things are at, like building content, creating content, building your brand online to kind of like attract attention. You want to get the goal in my mind is to get more visible. And so if you can get more visible, uh, you have a higher likelihood of getting recruiters to see you.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I think before we like close on this first point, and I know you have a couple more, but one book that has been helpful and someone that is a LinkedIn influencer, Kanika Tolver, Kanika Tolver, Tolver, very very powerful in the space of breaking up with jobs and the idea of dating jobs and the idea of rehabbing your career so that you can position yourself as the brand and not just the employee. Um, and as we have in these notes, like your resume is not your brand. It's your story, your presence, and your consistency. Um, and your consistency is that currency. Your confidence is that currency, and that's something that Kanika posted a couple of days ago, actually, where she stated that your consistency is your currency, especially in this market, right, where you are presenting yourself in a light that gives either a hiring manager or even someone that is close to a department that is hiring, gives you that upper hand and gives you that unique edge because you're presenting from a space of I already have it. I just inviting you in to invite me in to what you already have going. And she has a book called Career Rehab. This is not sponsored by her, and it is not sponsored by her employer either. But these are
Kanika
just
can send a
resources and
check if
tools.
she wanted to send a check.
These are just resources and tools that we have that I've used in the past that I highly recommend. But as you're positioning yourself, either on LinkedIn or even in public when you're going to uh, Chamber of Commerce meetings, as I said a couple of weeks ago, making sure that you are designing, that you are building, that you are testing, and you are launching your brand. And when you take that back to fulfill like how you present yourself on LinkedIn, it's always going to make a difference. It's always going to make a difference when you create the outcome that you want to see, and by documenting that outcome, that's that ideation phase when you begin to build that brand by saying or creating like that persona around who your brand is, and then testing it by putting out different types of posts, weekly, daily, whatever the case may be. Carousel posts are always higher engagement spaces. So those are those posts that you see like the multiple pictures going by, but those are PDFs only. So that's a recommendation there. They may or may not be used for images or JPEG files. PDFs are always the best way to go to post for a carousel. And then that launching space of if there's like a digital product that you've created similar to the one that I've created, Start to Lead, by the way, it is in the description of this video. But if you are launching something like based on what you've created to help in your previous experience and then launching it, that means that you are positioning yourself as a brand, right? It's one of the skill sets out of the whatever list of skill sets that you have on your resume, but it's one of the pieces of the skill sets that you have that can help you to start earning while you are waiting, essentially.
Yeah, no, I think all that's really valuable. I love the your consistency is your currency. 'Cause I think people hear branding, branding, brand, and
Hmm.
they're thinking like, okay, hey, a logo, or hey, whatever.
Hmm.
For me, branding is two things. One is like, what do people think about you when you're not there? Like when you're not present, like what are
Yeah.
people saying about you? Like what are you known for, even when you're
Yeah.
not there to speak for yourself. But the other part of branding to me is like it's building trust. And so it's,
Right.
I think being consistent, like you're talking about, it shows people like, hey, this is something that you care about. This is something that you value, and doing that over time, it builds up that trust. So, um, great advice, Kara. And Kanika, I've seen her. I think she was at like a lot of the big conferences and stuff that I follow and pay
Yeah.
attention to. So that's pretty dope. Um, Here, the last comment, just to kind of drive home we got two other points. So the first one is like changing the mindset to thinking about, hey, you are a brand, or you are a company, and approaching yourself like that. And so we're kind of hitting on three different examples that demonstrate that. The first two are more like in the corporate professional setting and being on LinkedIn. The last one, let me see, I got my buttons mixed up over here. One second, my bad. Here we go. Um, the last one, This one is so. Look, I'm a big football fan. Like, if you don't know already, big Dallas Cowboys fan. Love playing football, all that good stuff. And so, one of the things that always stuck out to me is, NFL draft is like the pinnacle of your excitement, your positivity, the hope you have for your team, and for players that are going from college and looking to get into the NFL. It's like the pinnacle of their excitement, they're hopeful, all that good stuff. But unfortunately, everybody doesn't get drafted. And so
Yeah.
I think like maybe about 10 years or so ago, started seeing these creative, and when you talk about branding, like these guys legit are brands. Like they are businesses in terms of NFL's players, professional athletes. And so some of these guys that didn't get drafted, you're either hoping for a phone call, you're continuing to work out. But some of these guys started taking like a proactive approach, whether it's billboards or whatever. And so some of these guys actually they would show up like outside the practice facilities before the start of the season, holding signs like, "Hey, I'm not homeless, but starving for an opportunity." And so I think one of these guys actually was able to kind of like get at least a workout with one of the teams, but not saying I'm not telling you to like go like show up outside of Accenture or Microsoft or Apple or whatever, like holding a sign talking about yo, I'm willing to work or whatever. But I think like adopting that mindset of creativity, I think there's a lot of different things you could do to show that you're creative, but then also like stand out from the crowd and hopefully improve your chances of getting seen.
Mhm.
And it's critical in today's market. Like I was talking to a recruiter, I may have already said this, but I was talking to a recruiter that worked at Figma, and he literally said they had like 10,000 applicants for a job. You ain't got no chance of landing a job if you just throwing the resume like online. Like you got some chance, but like let's be real. Like so, like what can you do to stand out? And so I think that's really like the whole point and the emphasis that we're trying to make here.
10,000 for one job.
Yeah, it's a wrap. You're
That's
like, yeah,
crazy.
you got to do something else. But I think, so number one, you adopt that mindset of, you're a brand. I think number two, the next thing is leveraging where you're at to create
Yeah.
these opportunities. I think a lot of people sleep on, or they discount themselves and where they're at in their life. Whether you're in college, whether you're like going to night school, you're doing a boot camp, you learn on your own. There is some kind of
Mhm.
community that you can tap into that will basically be there to support you. And so um, I'll throw out one example and then I'll let you kind of run with it. But I think the easiest thing from like a college standpoint, if you're at a college campus, bro, you need to go talk to like the alumni association. You need to go talk to career services. You need to be on LinkedIn, like searching for people that went to your school and start reaching out to people and lean into the
Mhm.
fact that like, hey, you're a current college student, like trying to figure things out, or you have an idea of what you want to do, but you want to connect with people to see and validate if this is the right pathway for you. And I think the
Yeah.
thing people kind of discredit is like, hey, I'm just starting out, but everybody remembers when they were in your shoes, like, and they can see themselves in you. So I think it's important for you to still take those steps to reach out, and you'd be surprised like how many people are willing to kind of help you out along the way.
For sure. For sure. I also think that because I was at Accenture and it was very rare that you would see somebody if you're going into the office. It's very rare that you would see somebody that works on your team in the office. 9 times out of 10, really 9.5 times out of 10, everybody that's in the office is actually working on a project that is so far removed from the job that you are currently doing that you never know what connections you can gain just from asking somebody, hey, what are you working on? um, and one of the pieces of advice that I gave a couple weeks ago was asking some of your employed friends what are some of their pitfalls and what has been frustrating them at work this week. Because honestly, you never know that by offering them a piece of advice on, well, did you think about it from this perspective or did you think about it from this perspective? Offering them some advice based on what frustrates them at their job, when they go back and talk about, hey, my friend mentioned this, or here's my suggestion, and then somebody gives you a compliment of like, oh man, that was really helpful, thank you for that. Actually, I got that suggestion from a friend of mine, they've done XYZ. And so that goes back to presenting yourself as the brand opposed to being being just the employee, by setting yourself up with that space of consistency and finessing your brand so well that once somebody else talks about you, then you may or may not know that that person is actually networking for you, networking on your behalf, and sharing your skill sets with somebody else, and talking about and dropping your name in rooms that you have not yet entered. And I say it like that because that is one of my consistent prayers, that, like, thank you, Lord, for going before me and dropping my name in rooms that I've not yet entered. But in this case, just from the people that you can use and leverage their frustrations as a space for you to gain, what is it, like, authentic networking opportunities.
Yeah, I think that's real big, and I want you to kind of like maybe take a step deeper into that because I'm aware of the world of consulting because from a recruiting standpoint, I've worked with them and I know some different consultants, but you've lived it firsthand,
Yeah.
and so can you kind of maybe emphasize the importance of that when you think about like working on an active project versus being on the bench or
Yeah.
bringing in new work because of the connections and like why that's important or how that can kind of play out in the consulting world.
Man, in the consulting world, so some typically don't realize that you have a job while looking for a job. um, and there's that space of fear for a lot of people that are new into that space, because they don't understand that they have to continue networking, they have to continue to keep their resume sharp. And so this idea of you being the brand opposed to you being just the employee, it goes and transfers into multiple spaces, but within consulting it is the biggest caveat and the biggest difference maker when it comes to getting you staffed on a project. And so, in my experience, I've seen individuals not have a role because like the market is so slow, but based on their engagement with employee resource groups. So these are like these affinity groups that are within your organization, and you all are coming together because you are, the Black employees ERG, or you're the Asian Pacific employees ERG, or you are, you know the pride groups, or um the dads at work groups, whatever the case may be. There are some groups that are like health and wellness, and they meet like monthly or bi-monthly at the park just to have like a field day, just because. So within those affinity groups, you have the opportunity to network with people that you don't have the opportunity to get to know, based on the project that you're assigned to. And so that's just another networking opportunity. um, and within the case of being within consulting, the best person that you can talk to is the front desk person. Whoever works the front desk, they know the list of calendar of events. So in Austin, we would always have either a client coming in and they're using the space to offer like a press junket or something. Or we've had, because we're in Austin, we have South by Southwest. That's always the best time to be in the office, right? If your city hosts a well-known, a nationally recognized conference, that is the best time to be in the office, because as a consultant, you may have the opportunity to engage with somebody that your client has been trying to get an in on, or they're trying to get like some industry news, and you find out just from asking the right questions. You find out just by showing interest in some of the projects or initiatives that that client is bringing in. And so you then can take that information back to your leadership and say, hey, I connected with this person at such and such an event, and they were sharing this pain point. I think one of the most slept on pieces of advice that someone can get, if you're within the consulting space or in a space that you're able to network with people that are not like you or not in an industry like you. Your alumni networks, the career centers, and within campuses and whatnot. The best thing that you could possibly do is begin to ask what is frustrating them and what are some of their pain points. By taking that on and aligning and mapping like a one for one. So let's say if someone's pain point is disorganization during the onboarding process, and me with the background of HR and training and development, then if I'm going to go out and start pitching people on my services, then I'm going to align the fact that, hey, I understand that within this upcoming busy season of you onboarding a lot of recent grads, I understand that some grads may feel that it is disorganized based on their onboarding because of reason one, reason two, reason three. Here's why I can help fulfill reason one, reason two, reason three, and make that a bit more synchronized in your onboarding process.
Yeah, no, I think you improve your chances of having a successful encounter with these people if you're adding value of some sort.
Yeah.
And so if you kind of keep that as like the priority and not just, hey, what can I get from this person, but hey, how can I make it mutually beneficial? Like think about it,
Right.
like when's the last time somebody just hit you up purely to get something from you and you're like, oh my God, I was so looking forward to you just, asking to borrow something or asking me to help you move or whatever. Like how can you provide value to this individual? So I
Yeah.
think it's good advice. And in the consulting world, man, I'm like, dang, you gotta be on top of it because for me, it's
Well,
like, after it's only so long you're gonna be on the bench before could get let go, salary gets
yeah.
impacted, all that stuff. So I think you can use a lot of these different skill sets. The thing I would challenge people to do here, like look at what community you're in and who you can reach out
Mhm.
to. Like even if you're just, even if you just go into a church or you go to a gym or whatever, like who is somebody that you can talk to, you can reach out to every day, or who's somebody that you interact with consistently that you can build a
Mhm.
relationship with and that you can reach out to and just see, hey, like what do you do? What are you working on? Like how can I help? Or do you know any? If you have a specific goal you're going for, you can even ask them explicitly, like, hey, you know anybody that works at Microsoft or Shell or whatever. Like I've been trying to get on there. I've been working hard. Da, 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 da. And if you don't know anybody, like yo, you got to send that cold email,
Yeah.
and we can like put like a template or something in there. But that, damn, I'm actually kind of jumping ahead of myself. That's actually like getting into step three. So step one, if we recap, number one, you got to have that mindset shift, acknowledge and think and adopt that mindset of you being a business and a brand. Step two, you need to leverage your existing network, leverage where you're at to kind of get to where you're trying to
Mhm.
go. And so,
Mhm.
take a step back, peel those layers back, and think about where communities you're in, who you can reach out to, who you can connect with. And then step three, um, steal from businesses. And I
Yeah.
mean that respectfully. Like, I'm not trying to like get nobody caught up. Like, don't be saying I told you to do nothing. But what I mean by that, steal from businesses, like, think about how businesses operate. If you're really adopting a business mindset, like, how do businesses get their products and services sold? And so, like, it's a mix of, hey, we're doing cold email campaigns, we're doing direct mail campaigns, um, we doing door to door sales. We showing up at different conferences. We're showing up at different events, and like all these things are things that you can adopt in order to kind of get your foot in the door. And so, who can you cold email? Who can you reach out to? What event can you pull up at, and start talking to people and networking with people, and kind of go about it that way. And I think there's the obvious, LinkedIn is a great tool. Eventbrite is a great tool. Meetup.com is another great tool. If you try to get like cold email information from people, Apollo.io is another great tool that you can
Yes.
use for like, these are tools that like businesses actually use to get all these different company contacts. And so if you don't have nobody email, yo, spend a few dollars. There's all kind of web scrapers out there, but Apollo.io is a great tool to kind of at least start taking some initial steps to like find people you can contact. And then in
Yeah.
terms of cold emails, like Car already showed you using ChatGPT for like the social media posts. Leverage it for the cold email as well. Put in there like what your background is, who you trying to reach out to, and help use those tools to help you draft and cold email that you can send out to people.
So I just asked chat to list out a couple of platforms I can use for learning from competitors' marketing strategies, and some of the best that they recommended. So it would be the ad and social media strategy, Meta Ads library. So this is the library on Facebook.com. TikTok Creative Center. Let me just share the screen. All right, TikTok Creative Center is that second one. Twitter's Ad Transparency Center, and then LinkedIn Ads Insights. I know that this is like a paid version, but if you're running ads, you can also start to benchmark and see where some of those engagement points are from other spaces within LinkedIn Campaign Manager. And then for website and SEO content, SimilarWeb, SEM Rush, and Uber Suggest by Neil Patel. Also, Neil Patel has a really great newsletter. So I highly recommend getting on that one as well. Finding out
Yeah.
where his is. Just go to his name, neilpatel.com, and that's a really good resource. And then for e-commerce strategies for Shopify sites, Koala Inspector, and then this last one. This is going to be this is interesting to me. This email strategy, mail charts. Sorry, um, it's very interesting to that there is a resource for you to research email newsletters for you to find some strategies there. I highly recommend getting involved in the email newsletters that reach your desired industry, because by understanding from an industry standpoint, like that industry news, that gives you the opportunity to add an additional layer of knowledge, because what is it? Content marketing will always be of use, and it'll be helpful for anybody that is going into to any industry and any job market. For myself, I'm using it now to help me be positioned as a thought leader when it comes to apprenticeship and workforce development. I recently received an email notification from the Department of Labor about a new grant opportunity that's coming out. It's called Want to. It's about women apprenticeships and apprenticeship programs that are helping female employees and setting up apprenticeship programs for them. And so I know that I'm not going to apply for that grant because I don't have an apprenticeship program. However, I'm now using the fact that that grant is now available until August and some change, but I'm now using that information to then create content on my LinkedIn profile that says that my experience can help anybody that is applying for this grant. Based on the qualifications within that grant, I then created a prompt in chat, and I said based on these requirements for this grant, and align it to my experience and my qualifications to be um, a program evaluator, or whatever my role is that I want to have for working with a certain client. Draft out some writing prompts, or draft out some posts for me to write that covers each of these requirements for this grant, so that I can be positioned as an industry expert, which I am. I'm not doing that based on like false pretenses or anything, but I'm using chat as a tool to help me be positioned based on that content that I'm putting out.
Yeah. No, I like that, and I think the thing that people, the goal is like you're doing all these amazing things behind the scenes. Like, even if you're just studying, even if you're just working on projects, like all of that stuff is extremely valuable. And I'm talking about for the early career people. You're Kara, you're doing some amazing things in the apprenticeship space. You've already done the work before in your
Mhm.
previous roles, but now it's for in my mindset. Now it's about, hey, how do you let the world know how great you are? All these amazing things you've done, and that's where the content comes in. And so it's like, I'm gonna be honest with you. In 2019 and prior, like I hated social media, I hated content, but for me, it's been like a cheat code that's unlocked a lot of opportunities. I'm texting like CTOs, CIOs, like executives, VPs, like all of this
Yeah.
stuff just because it's like the content. And it's like, okay, hey, how can I add value? How can I connect with them? And for me, it was like the podcast was the first way to do that. And so like all the content you're creating, now you got people that, are with the government or nonprofit agencies or whatever that are thinking about you when they have to write a grant and they need to know, okay,
Yeah.
hey, how do we incorporate, our alumni feedback? Like, how important is this for us when we're developing a program? And those are things like
Yeah.
maybe they thought about, but we don't have anybody in house, and we got a million other things to do. But now I'm consistently seeing you. I'm like, damn, I really need to go ahead and like reach out to Cara to get this done. So I hope people understand like the importance of it and like really take that time and steps and effort to do it, because I think like if you literally think about it, going back to the first young lady we showed, like you literally could be like one post away from like
For
your
real.
breakthrough. And like
For
I
real.
want you to think about like how big and significant you make that one small thing in your head,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of like, dang, I don't want to put my business out there, or dang, I don't want to like people knowing like what I'm struggling with, or social media is stupid, like it doesn't make sense, like it should just be whoever's the best like rises to the top. But and honestly, it's never been that way. It's
Yeah.
always been like, who do you know? Like think about
Yeah.
whoever you like come in contact with that has like been the smartest of the smart person, but then think about somebody who knows, has industry contacts, or their parents hooked them up with somebody. And so now, to me, the social media aspect is just leveling the playing field in terms of,
Mm-hmm.
okay, hey, you don't have to have a rich uncle, you don't have to have an auntie that worked at Chevron or Shell for 20 years, or
Yeah.
Microsoft or Apple. Now it's like, hey, you build your brand, build your authority online, and you see what happens over time. And so
Yeah.
that's kind of
Yeah.
my sermon for today, I guess.
That's so good. I think the last point of advice that I would give for anybody that is wanting to build and strengthen their brand on LinkedIn, look at any job opening that aligns to your experience. You know that you would be amazing in this role. This may be a stretch role, or this may be a role that is perfect for where you are right now. Before applying for that role, take about 3 to 5 of the qualification and descriptions of the duties and tasks. Take about 3 to 5 of those key points, copy and paste them into chat. And by doing that and giving it the reference to your resume as well, um, ask it to create a post for you based on each of those points, and it's going to utilize and analyze between the requirements of the job and your resume and whatever additional context that you give it. It'll create a couple of posts for you for how many days, right? And then schedule those posts out, and then make sure that after you schedule the post, make sure that you're either putting a reminder in your phone, or setting some type of alarm on your phone for after it's automatically posted, and set about 10 to 20 minutes of engagement after that post goes live. So one of the things that I have noticed and have read from other LinkedIn influencers is that after you post anything, you have to engage after it's posted. You have to engage
100%.
when it comes to commenting, when it comes to liking and saying like commenting for reach. That's helpful, right? It's helpful because it's telling the algorithm that you are active on this platform. And by telling it that you are active on that platform, engaging by adding comments to somebody else's post, adding reactions to somebody else's post, and writing consistently, by having chat write out 5 posts for you, one per day, and you're engaging with other people's posts or with your own post after it's posted, that shows activity, but that also shows consistency. scheduling posts will be a game changer. I gave that advice to one of my coordinators, and she does a lot of contracting work, and she has now been able to have a post go viral because of scheduling her post. So, so I highly recommend go to a job listing that you know and you want to go for, and put it in chat gpt, take about 3 to 5 of the points that are added as far as recommendations or responsibilities that are listed in that job description. Give in chat the prompt of align these job responsibilities to my experience that's listed in my resume, and create one post per bullet point. And then after it gives you those posts, refine it based on your writing style. If it is familiar with you, with for most of us, it should already be familiar with our writing styles, because we don't want chat to be the sole writer for us. Um, Align it to your writing style and make your edits. Tell it to omit as many em dashes as possible, and then start posting and start scheduling those posts out.
Yeah. No, man, ditto. Like I think it's these are all things that I've seen that have worked, and it helps you be consistent as well. So like, um, in this very moment, I'm not practicing what I preach, but when my life is like manageable, typically what I'll do is I'll have one day where I'm like trying to like brainstorm a bunch of ideas, and then I'll like try to schedule out posts for the whole week. Right now, look, I'm up at like 5 o'clock, 4 something in the morning, and like I'm trying to get in work, take care of like a couple of early morning tasks, and then I'm out the door, juggling different commitments. But like everything that you said, I'm all for it. Like scheduling the posts, all that, like it's important. And the engagement, you're trying to teach the algorithm like, yo, I'm consistently showing up, and this is something that people consistently want from me. So reward me by giving me more visibility. So I love all of that. Um, Hey, look, so I got a few jobs for y'all real quick. Um, Kara, I appreciate the amazing insight. You know,
Of
you
course.
doing what you do. Da, 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 da. Look, y'all seeing all my business in the background. Um, so look, we gotta, real quick. So I think, with the title of the show being "Where the Job's At," every week, we also want to like give you some different job opportunities in addition to like all the different valuable insights that we provide. So real quick, I ain't gonna hold you too long, but we do have like 3 different jobs. I just wanted to get in front of you. If you're an early career professional looking to land a job, and if you would rather just get these via email instead of waiting on me to do this live stream and encourage you to do this, then what you can do is you can go to noexperiencejobs.io and sign up for the newsletter. Or you can also create a profile on there. My goal is to help get you in front of as many employers as possible and get as many jobs in front of you as possible. So real quick, a few different jobs. One is a mechanical engineering job with Leonardo DRS. This job is on the site, but if you actually go to the company website, you can actually see all the different requirements and the expectations and the job description itself. So I would encourage you guys to check this one out. This one is based in Missouri. So if you're not in Missouri, you got to think about, hey, are you willing to relocate? Which is a whole nother question. Cara, would you relocate, different city for a job opportunity?
I came to Austin because of a job opportunity.
Okay, but what about today? Like if somebody pulled up on you today, like, hey, you got to go to Denver. No.
Nah, nah. I mean, depending on how much it's bringing in, honestly, like if for the right price, I'll be out there and I'll get a Airbnb if that's the case, or I'll rent something out if that's the case, like a
Oh,
short
keep the
term rental or
house.
something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, like I just bought a house, man. Like
Yeah,
we need,
you're right.
yeah, we needs the money to pay for the house. Know what I mean? But yeah, no, I'm not relocating for a job.
Yeah.
Not right now.
No, I don't know. I've done it before. I went from San Antonio to Detroit for my first job out of college. Uh,
Hmm.
I think it was a great decision. Um, if I'm early in my career and I don't have no kids, I think I would do it again in a heartbeat. Right now, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. Like it got to be a lot of money, and it got to be like a great opportunity in terms of like a lot of exposure, a lot of interesting problems I'm solving. But yeah, right now
Mhm.
at this stage, like mid 30s, 3 kids, a mortgage. Hey, for the
Right.
right, well, to your point, with the right number, hey, we could talk. So,
Wow.
um, but yeah, I was just curious what your thoughts were there. Um, but yeah, you guys check out this role here. This one is in Leonard. Oh, sorry, Leonardo DRS. It's based in Missouri. The second one, look, TikTok is still around apparently. I don't know how many times they didn't talk about TikTok getting banned or whatever, and then they extended it. Apparently, I guess TikTok is working on making a U.S. based app. Um, but long story short, they have a machine learning scientist opportunity for entry level folks, and so encourage you guys to check this one out. They've actually, I always see different jobs from TikTok, so make sure you check it out. They're actually looking to onboard by the end of this year, 2025. So check it out. I think if you have a master's degree, that's really what they're looking for. Um, but nonetheless, I think it's a good opportunity for those of you pursuing software engineering. And then last but not least, this is another software engineering role from Top Block. Um, Again, doesn't require any experience. Let me get you to the job posting. Doesn't require any experience. This one is based in Chicago, and it was actually posted online yesterday. So the better you can get your foot in the door. Sorry, the earlier you can get your foot in the door, the better, because these job postings don't be staying open for long, especially when they don't require experience. So make sure you check those out. They'll be in the description as well. I'll be sure to put the references that Kara shared with you guys as well in terms of the book that she provided, and then also we'll include like a cold email template that you guys can check out in there as well, so that when you outreaching to people, you can kind of have a good starting point. But hopefully you guys take action. Send a cold email, send a cold DM, send a message to somebody that you think can help you get to where you're trying to go. But be authentic. Try to provide some value to them beyond just asking for something, but lean into the curiosity and leverage where you're at, and really think about yourself as a brand and what you want to be known for and how you want people to
Mhm.
view you. But that's really my takeaway. But Kara, you got anything to bless the people with before we go?
Man, I bless you in all of your endeavors, and all will be well. Just continue to be consistent in all that you're doing, and yeah, yeah. Just lean on who you have next to you. You have somebody that you are listening to that has an ebook available for those that want to learn how to lead and be confident in leading forward. So the link to that will be in the description as well. It is there for you. So yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, and then let me give y'all a sneak peek real quick. So we working on getting some guests to come on the show. Let me see.
Yeah.
So look, this is my boy right here, Eric Waldo. This is my guy. Man, so me and Eric go back a few years now. He's really good people. So he's actually a senior recruiter at Improving. They're like a software engineering firm. They basically help companies build different digital products, software that they need. He's been a recruiter for a minute. Let me see, 4 years. Oh, actually, even before that, I think he was. Oh, I didn't know he worked at Industrious. That's crazy. Okay. My bad. I'm like noticing stuff that I didn't even notice. But he also worked at Indeed. Now he's been at Improving for about 4 years as a recruiter. My boy Eric, he's coming on the show. Where the cash at? My bad, not where the cash. Where the jobs at? He's coming on the show. Where the jobs at on July 23rd. I'll make sure to promote that and everything like that. But I think he got a really good value, a lot of good value and perspective on the job market and what he's seen that candidates are still struggling with, and things that may seem obvious and that you probably heard before, but they're still not doing. So he'll kind of speak to it from that perspective, and then give you guys some advice. It'll be relevant, specific to early career professionals, but then also I think it'll be relevant to everybody in general. He was telling me some things. I was like, man, this is like pretty obvious, and I thought people were like past this, but uh, apparently not. So make sure y'all stay tuned, lock in, and we'll be back with some more interesting guests, great conversations, and all that good stuff.
Bye, y'all.
See you. Peace.